All right. Welcome to the next episode of the Brio in the Box podcast. Special guest, Coach Rana. Welcome.
Thank you.
Back. Second time.
Second time in the Brio in the podcast closet edition.
We are in the closet. Welcome to the closet. Rana got to walk through my bedroom into our walk-in closet / podcast room.
It's awesome.
So since you were last here a year and some ago, some changes, some events, some updates,
some stuff.
Let's do a little journey back in time. Tell us what happened.
Okay. Let's go back to 2021. I think I had just finished school, just done my phlebotomy course, had finished that up and had been job hunting and was looking for jobs and applied and got the only place that was, when I look back now, I think it was maybe Cosmic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Serendipitous. Yeah.
The only place that I got an interview was the Saskatoon Cancer Center. So I interviewed with them and was like, I really think this would be a great place to work. I'd like this job. And that was last week of November 2021. So I did the interview and they offered me the job. I signed the paperwork, sent it in. My first day was the 30th, was a Tuesday. But on the 26th of November, the 25th of November, I just had a shower and I came out of the bathroom. And like I do every day, I put lotion all over my body, including my breasts, just always have done, and found a lump and was like, oh, okay, it's not unusual because I have had cysts and lumps before. So I wasn't panicked, but I always know I need to get them checked.
Yeah. So very on top
your
health, you know your body, you know when something's not normal.
Yeah. They're not supposed to be there. Yeah. And I'd rather have it checked. So that was in the morning and I was on the way to work out and thought I'll just stop in at a Mediclinic because I couldn't get into my doctor and actually went to the Mediclinic right by Brio.
Oh yeah.
And they just happened to get me in right away. And it was a male doctor and an older gentleman, really nice, did a breast exam and said, I think it's nothing. I think it's a cyst. I think you're okay. But if you were my wife, I would send you for a mammogram.
Yeah.
So he gave me the requisition. I got in my car. I phoned the 8th Street SMI and they said, we happen to have a cancellation for tomorrow. And I was like, great, I'll take it at 3:00. Went to the gym. Next day, went to the mammogram and I'm sitting in the mammogram and I can tell from the ultrasound that something isn't right.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's okay. You know, we've been here before. I've had the mammogram, had to go for an ultrasound and then had to talk to the radiologist and they've just said, you know, we see things. We'll just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
This time I said, oh, am I good? Can I go? And the technologist said, no, the radiologist wants to come in and talk to you. And I was like, that's not good.
Yeah.
And he came in and just said, we can't tell what it is, but there's something there. There's a cyst for sure, but there's something else. We can't see it. We want you to go for a biopsy. Okay. My doctor, who is awesome, phones me Saturday morning and says, I just got your information. They sent it to me at closing time Friday. Don't panic. I don't think it's anything. So they referred me to the Breast Health Center and talking with the surgeon there, surgeon was like, I don't think it's anything either. We go for the biopsy. The day of the biopsy, I meet with a resident and she does a breast exam. She's like, I'm pretty sure there's nothing here. And then I go in for my biopsy. And you're awake. They freeze the area where they're going to do the biopsy. And right away, she says, oh, this one popped. And then she said, but there's another one here. I'm just going to take some samples. And she took 7 samples. And I was like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And so they put in biopsy markers where they take the samples from so they know if they need to go back in. This is all stuff I learned after. At the time, I'm just like, right? That was January 6th, I think I went for the biopsy, 2022. 2 weeks later, we still haven't heard anything. So I'm just thinking everything's fine.
Yeah.
But Yvonne's like, you need to call them. Just call them because we need to know. So I phoned And the nurse says, oh, yep, the doctor wants to talk to you. Just 1 second. I'll put him on the phone. I'll get him on the phone for you. And I said, okay. And then he goes, hi, Rana. And I go, no, actually it's Raina. He goes, oh, well, there'll be lots of time for me to get to know your name. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
But I had also already looked on eHealth and seen the results on eHealth.
Yeah. Interesting.
But didn't want to panic, but it did say invasive ductal carcinoma. And I was like, that's not good.
Yeah.
And then he said, yes, you have breast cancer. It is early. It is small, but we need to know what type of breast cancer it is before we can decide how treatment will work. And so I said, okay.
Yeah.
And then a week later, he phoned me back and said, we're going to refer you to the cancer clinic. And I had started working. I'd been working at the cancer clinic, and I spent a lot of,
How strange is that?
I had been working there for 5 weeks. So it was weird to have to go to them and say, I know I just started working here,
but now I'm a patient.
Now I'm going to be a patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everything happened so fast. It's really hard to wrap your brain around. And now I understand when they say it's really important that you have somebody with you when you get these kinds of results. Because when he said it is breast cancer, everything else just fell away.
Yeah.
And all I heard was cancer, 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 cancer. Yeah. And the first thought that comes into your mind is, am I dying?
Yeah.
Right?
The big C word.
The big C word.
Yeah.
It's super scary. Yeah, and you never think you're going to hear it in your life. Yeah. I mean, I think I expected eventually one day to hear it, just not
at 50.
Not at 50.
Yeah.
Because I had just turned 50.
Yeah.
I had just turned 50 and I felt the healthiest I've ever felt. Yeah. I never felt sick. I didn't feel tired. I felt strong. I just happened to find a lump.
Yeah. And I think a point worth highlighting there is the importance of staying on top of things and monitoring your health and noticing when something is not right, even if you feel good and you feel healthy and, that you have to stay on top of the regular checkups and not let little things go and be like, oh, it's nothing. Like,
that's right. And
catch it as early as possible.
That
gives you the best chance.
And take it seriously. Like if you find, regular mammogram, regular breast exams monthly should be done. Yeah.
Nobody knows your body better than you.
Nobody knows your body better than you. Yeah. And I knew the minute I put lotion on and was doing my thing, I was like, oh no, that's not good. Cause I had found lumps before.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've always taken them very seriously. So working at the cancer center, and now I'm going to be a patient.
Yeah. It sounds like though that they did a good job of trying to care for your emotions and not getting you worried unnecessarily and making sure you have a support person there, doing a good job of caring for their patients. Yeah.
So between the breast health center and the cancer center, they're from my experience, excellent communication. My file was sent over right away, but because I worked at the cancer center and I already told them, they were expecting it and waiting for it. So I got my diagnosis on the 25th of January. I think a week and a half later, I met my oncologist for the first time. And in that week, though, that's the whirlwind of you're going for an MRI, you're going for a bone scan, you're scheduled for a CT scan. I had to go for an echocardiogram to make sure my heart was strong. You're getting phone calls from different places asking you for information. And you're just like, I don't know what's happening right now. Yeah. I don't have time to process any of this. Yeah. I'm in survival mode. But right from the get-go, they were like, you are not dying.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah. So when I sat down in my oncologist's office, he said, you are not dying. This is early. This is treatable. This is curable. And you will go on to live your life.
So that's good. They were very positive.
They were very positive. Yeah. I think I was lucky that I probably have the best oncologist in the Saskatoon Cancer Center.
That's awesome. Shout
out to Dr. Ahmed, Dr. S. Ahmed.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So then unfortunately the road between the positive outcome and being cancer-free is not easy.
It's not
right?
easy.
So then comes the treatment.
Right. And it's dependent on the type of breast cancer that you had. I had no clue that there were different types of breast cancer and then different ways to treat it. Some breast cancers, you just have the lump removed and you have radiation. Some breast cancers, you have surgery first and then you have chemotherapy. The type that I had, I'm not going to tell anybody what it is because I don't want anyone Googling that, because I Googled it and went down a spiral.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Not that it's so bad. It's just nobody needs to Google.
Yeah,
any of that.
Dr. Google's not helping.
Yeah. So anyways, the type that I had was chemotherapy first and then surgery and then possible radiation, possible oral chemo, depending on how things turn out.
Yeah.
16 rounds of chemo.
Wow. And that was once a week, every week?
So they call them cycles. And I had 4 cycles every 2 weeks where they, 4 cycles every 2 weeks. So that was 8 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. Where they gave me 2 different drugs when I would go. One was called doxycycline. It's bright red in color and they push it through an intravenous and it's what makes your hair fall out.
Oh, kills all the fast growing cells.
Exactly. So the very first thing they said to me when I met with the oncologist and they said, we should backtrack, I guess. I'm sitting in the oncologist's office. We're going to get you treated right away. Because I worked there, I think they could fast track me, which is awesome. I saw my doctor on a Tuesday. On the Thursday, I was sitting in a chemo chair.
Wow.
Ready for my first appointment.
Talk about not enough time to process what's
No time to process anything. Came home and that weekend lost my...
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in this. I don't understand how I got here.
Yeah. Whirlwind all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
We're in this. Like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
All the things that come with your first treatment of chemotherapy.
Yeah. It's happening.
It's happening. I actually woke up on the Sunday night and said, oh, we're in this.
Yeah.
Like, we're really in this.
Yeah.
I still hadn't said I still hadn't said cancer yet. It took me a long time to say that word.
Yeah.
People would say, oh, you have cancer. And I would say, no, I have a tumor.
Yeah.
I have a tumor. It has cancer cells in it.
Yeah. Some cells.
Yeah.
We're going to get them out.
Yeah.
We're going to kill them.
Because I think I had to keep that mind frame.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that is a good mindset in a lot of ways that, cancer is unfortunately far too common, but not always a death sentence. Right. And so to not immediately go to, like you said, am I dying? You go like, it's just a thing. We're going to treat it. We're going to get it out of here. And then we'll get back to life, you know, and take some of the loaded implications of the big C word out of it,
Yeah. And I had to do that for myself, right? I had to find a place where I could be positive that this was going to turn out okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in that place, it meant not telling a lot of people.
Yeah.
So we kept it pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And I just kind of disappeared,
Yeah.
I think, from coaching and from, you guys knew, and a select few of safe people knew. But for me to get through it, I couldn't talk about it.
Yeah. And I think
weird.
that's very fair. And I respect those boundaries a ton, and that you don't want it to consume your whole life and every conversation you have with every human being everywhere you have to talk about cancer. Like,
yeah. And
it's too emotionally draining in the midst of all of the other
things that you're just trying to survive every day.
Yeah.
And by survive, I just mean just get through the feelings of what the treatment does to your body.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you that I never felt sick from cancer.
Yeah.
But I felt terrible because of chemotherapy.
Yeah. It's poison.
Yeah.
It's
basically poisoning your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did 16 weeks. The first 4 cycles were every 2 weeks, because basically they would tank my immunity. So they would just take my white blood cells and wipe them out.
Yeah.
And then I would have to build them back up with shots every 4 days after my treatment. Then I would start with these needles called Grastafil, where I would inject. Yvan would be so kind. He did all my injections for me.
Yeah.
And that would build my immune system back up. or my white blood cell count back up so that I could go into the next treatment, and then they could tank me again.
Yeah. So you had to be really careful not to get sick.
I had to be very careful. I became immunocompromised.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting side to be on, because prior to that, with COVID and all the what's the big deal? We should just be able to go and do our thing. Like, I don't want, you know what I mean? All of a sudden it was like, well, no, I have to be very careful because I could get very sick.
Yeah. You have no immune system.
I have
during
no
that time.
immune system. Yeah. So that was an interesting place to be.
But on the positive side, because you went into it being a very healthy, strong person, that ended up being a great benefit to you. Right?
Yeah. Yes. I was lucky in the fact that when most people, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. My experience, I never had nausea. Oh, I had a little bit of nausea, but I never was sick, like physically sick. People can get sores in their mouth. I didn't get that. People can get neuropathy. They can lose the sensation in their fingers. I didn't lose that.
You didn't miss any treatments?
I didn't miss any treatments. Yeah. I didn't get any infections. So I think in terms of, I was sort of like what's the word I would be looking for? On paper, an excellent candidate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I honestly believe it's because coming into it, I had a higher baseline of health and fitness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, sometimes when you're young and you feel invincible and people think like, no, you have to be like fit and healthy because you never know what's going to happen. And you're like, that won't happen to me. And then you're like, no, but really life will throw challenges at you. Mm-hmm. Some of them will be, sicknesses, maybe you're in a car accident, like who knows what will happen. And if you're just a stronger, healthier, more robust person, you're just better able to put up a fight, right? Like you're just better able to face those challenges.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for the 10 or 15 years of fitness and health and everything that you had put into your bank account so that when it came time to make a little withdrawal, you were ready.
Yeah. I had a war chest, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
I had a war chest.
Yeah. Build up the war chest.
You
never know what you're going to battle with.
No.
Right?
And I mean, it's scary because you just think what's going to happen, and you don't know, and you don't know. And they tell you all the worst case scenarios when you go for your first treatment. And I left there thinking, this is not going to be the cancer that gets me. It's going to be the chemo or a virus because I don't have an immune system, or right. So
I mean, they kind of take your body right to the brink.
Oh boy,
right?
They take you right to the brink.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. So the first 4 cycles were every 2 weeks, and they basically told me that I would notice the tumor had shrunk, and after the first treatment, and they were right, and it noticeably got smaller.
That's wild. Hey,
it's wild.
Yeah,
I was like, science works. Yeah. It noticeably got smaller. By the time I went for my midway or for my CT scan and a midway ultrasound, it had gone from centimeters to millimeters.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that was only 4 cycles, 4 treatments. Then I had another 12 weeks of going every single week. Yeah. And they beefed it up. And every 3 weeks I would add in a drug called carboplatin. Carboplatin is terrible. And honestly, by the time we were done and going into the 4th cycle of that, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I think I'm done treatment. And Yvonne was like, you're not done treatment. You're gonna. And I was like, I know I'm not done treatment, but it's really terrible.
Yeah.
And just in terms of how you feel, low energy, you don't feel good.
Yeah.
You don't feel good because like you said, they're literally poisoning you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they say that there's the 3 things they do with cancer treatment, and it's poisoning you, and then there's cutting you, and then there's burning you.
Yep.
And that's what they do.
Yeah. Those are the 3 tools of
oncology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was in the poisoning section.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we made it through to the end of June on time, finished my last treatment, and my doctor at the breast health center, because I had 2 doctors, I had a surgeon and I had an oncologist, sent me for an MRI, and they couldn't see anything anymore.
Awesome.
Gone.
Yeah.
Nothing there. They still want you to go, they still want to go in and do treatment. They still do surgery. They cut you.
Yeah.
I was lucky. I'm lucky. I had options.
Yeah.
I had the option to do a lumpectomy, to do a mastectomy, to do a double mastectomy, and have reconstruction if I wanted. Lots of people don't have those options.
Yeah.
With a lumpectomy comes radiation.
Yeah.
I wasn't keen on that.
More poison.
More poison.
Or burn, I guess.
Burn. And so all the options they present to you, radiation causes cancer.
Yeah.
Chemotherapy can cause cancer.
Yeah.
The implants that they want to use in you can cause cancer.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of decisions to be made. Mm-hmm. So at the end of treatment, we know it's worked.
Yeah.
Pretty much. They still want to do surgery. So I have surgery. Pathology comes back. They call it complete pathological response, or a PCR, pathologically complete response. That means there were no cancer cells, no evidence of disease.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You get to ring the bell, right?
I didn't get to ring a bell, but because I think because I had chemotherapy and then surgery, I think if you do surgery and then you have chemotherapy and then they know, I don't know. I didn't get to ring a bell, but that's okay. I don't want to jinx myself by ringing bells. So the pathology comes back, complete pathological response. Awesome. There are no evidence of disease.
Mm-hmm. And then surgery was last summer.
Surgery was last summer. So from the time you have chemotherapy, their last chemotherapy, they want you to have surgery within 4 to 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. The window, they call it the window of when they want you to have surgery. So it was 5 weeks after my last chemotherapy session, I went in for surgery. And for me, that was the scariest part of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going under the knife.
Going under the knife.
Yeah.
Going into the darkness.
Yeah.
Waking up and you are altered.
So that was
physically, not
July?
only emotionally, but physically. August 4th.
August 4th last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously that's a big recovery in itself.
Big recovery in itself.
That's an invasive procedure.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if we should talk about that. My decision was to do a mastectomy. I wasn't ready to, I didn't want a lumpectomy and I didn't want radiation because I wanted to make sure everything was gone. But I also wasn't ready just to lose both my breasts.
Yeah.
So I did a single mastectomy and I did what's called a flat closure. I didn't want to have anything else to worry about.
Yeah.
I didn't want anything foreign inside my body. I'd been through enough already.
So no reconstruction.
No reconstruction. Yeah. But I'm pretty tiny and I think I can hide it pretty well.
Yeah. Well, and you make the decision that's right for you and right for the point in your life and what you want and all those things.
Yeah. There's always options later on.
It's good that you had options.
I had options.
The ability to choose.
And I still have options.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moving forward.
Doesn't close a door.
Doesn't close the door for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you have some recovery. Now we're into the fall of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of like past on the other side of the battle.
Yeah.
And now it's
declared cancer-free.
Declared cancer-free.
Yeah.
And now it's like coming back out of the battle, kind of rebuilding or regaining the life you had before.
Yeah.
Right? Like getting back.
Where do you fit?
Consider,
where do you
or
fit?
Maybe there is no going back. There's only going forward.
That's right.
What's the new normal post this challenge thing, right?
Correct. And I had a really good healthcare team at the Cancer Center, and that included a social worker that I talked to regularly. Because I like to talk. I'm a talker. I think people know that about me.
What?
So I found that invaluable because I needed to talk with somebody who understood. Mm-hmm. Maybe not because they'd had cancer, but because they dealt with other people.
Yeah, you just don't want to feel alone. Someone understands.
And she'd always said it's now your life was a puzzle and pieces fit a certain way. And now all of a sudden you need to figure out where your piece fits.
Oh, interesting.
Because and I was reading somebody else's blog the other day. When I was in treatment, I was watching life go by. Mm-hmm. Everybody else is living life and you are hoping that you are going to be able to live life.
Yeah.
So you're watching through people's social media or, talking to people or texts, and you're seeing people carrying on and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you come out the other end of it and you're like, where do I fit now? Because everything looks a little different.
Yeah.
It's like I had a peek behind a curtain and I know now there is an expiration date.
Yeah.
Which we all know, but I don't think you realize.
Yeah. It has to rattle its way into the forefront of your consciousness.
Well, I think, you know, I think we walk around with a certain amount of negativity on purpose. I think that's something that we ecologically.
How could we get through life?
Couldn't get through life. Biologically, you need that.
If every day you were like, someday I'm going to die.
Well, exactly. If you're always like, yeah. So it was working through that, and then figuring out where I fit again. Because did I still fit with my Brio community? Yeah. Do I still fit with my friends? Do I,
getting back to it. So I think some of the conversations we had during that time was like, how do we take a negative thing and find the silver lining and try to do something positive out of it? So we had said a while back, we're like, okay, when things are good and you're ready and we're back on track, like, because you had such a good experience with the cancer center, we were like,
amazing.
We should do something for the cancer center. Yeah. Like, we should give back. Yeah. They gave you lots of support and help and everything. And we should find a way to repay. Yes. Right. To do something good.
Because my care was amazing. I know other people's stories, but for my story, it was amazing.
Yeah. Which is great to hear.
Yeah. And my oncologist and the research that he does, he's a forefront in the research that he does, and I want to help him.
Yeah. And we wanted to stay local.
Yes.
Directly to our
cancer center. Yeah.
So do you remember when you started coming back to the gym? Before Christmas, right?
Yeah, I think I tried to come back in September, wasn't quite ready, still feeling not great. Maybe came a couple times in October, but November I think is when I started to come back a little more.
And just like took it really easy in the beginning. Easy. And even just like, I remember some days where like you hadn't been around a lot of people for a long time and you come to a noon class and you're like, holy shit, this is a lot of people. Like even just getting used to like almost reacclimating into groups of people and the like loud and chaotic nature of
there would be times I would come to the gym and do a workout and I would be empty bar or light bar or no bar. Yeah. You would say to me, just come and do 5 squats. And I'd be like, I can do that. I can come and do 5 squats. Yeah.
And then, a lot of it was just like, hey, just get back around all your friends that love you. Like, just get back in your positive little bubble, you know, and like, I don't care if you do 5 squats and go home. That's great. What a great day. Yeah. Come see your people, move a little bit. You know, just get back
into that positive world of positivity, which was because I was in a negative type environment. It was traumatic. It was
for sure
very traumatic, life-changing experience.
Yeah. Traumatic for a variety of reasons. And then also just like kind of having to be isolated is not ideal. You're a very social person. Yeah. You're used to your community. And that alone is traumatic.
Yeah. That was really hard.
And then add all these other challenges on top. So.
And then coming back and I didn't want anybody looking at me like they felt sorry for me. Yeah. And I think that was one of the reasons why we didn't tell people. I know that was one of the reasons I didn't want to tell people because I didn't want to get that head tilt.
Everyone looking at you with sad eyes all the time.
Dying. Are you okay? Are you going to be okay? Are you dying? Yeah. Because I would be like, I'm not dying. Yeah. And they'd be like, but aren't you?
Yeah. One thing I learned from you in this process that I will always keep in the forefront of my mind is I remember you saying that like you would find when you had to tell people what was going on or that you had cancer, that you would almost end up comforting them and that was extremely emotionally draining for you. And I went, oh yeah, like, why do we do that? Why do we put that on a cancer patient to like, you know, someone tells you they have cancer and now I'm upset and they have to comfort me? Like, that's not my role here. Like, stay strong. Obviously you have to show people you care and everything, but don't burden someone with more emotionally demanding conversations, you know. Correct. It's already that emotional bank account is already getting tapped real hard. So, you know, that's definitely something to like, I guess there's a delicate balance there between you want to acknowledge it, you want to show someone you care, you don't want to just pretend like la la la, like nothing's happening, but also it's kind of, I would think, helpful to someone to just be normal. Yes. And just have them be in an environment where not every conversation is about cancer.
Yeah. You know? Because it would get them like having to tell everybody or tell people over and over again was exhausting. And then yes, there were many times I had to comfort people and make sure that they were okay, knowing that I was going to be okay. Yeah. And I'm like, And the scenario of like when your house is on fire and somebody comes and says, hey, your house is on fire. Is there anything I can do for you? And it would be like, yeah, I need some water. You know, like people would ask me, what do you need? And I'd be like, I don't know. Yeah. But if you want to do something, great. Yeah. But I can't tell you what that is because I am just trying to get through the next minute. Yeah. The next 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I think been back at it, got a good routine going, getting the fitness back, PR and the shit out of stuff and feeling strong again and all that. So now I think we're at a point where people that wanted to help, now's your time.
Now's your time.
We got a time for you.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to turn this negative into a positive.
Yep.
We're going to put the whole Brio community behind this thing, Coach Rana's unicorn power that she used to crush cancer. And we're going to support the heck out of it with a fun community day.
Yeah.
So we have an event coming at you. Unite to Fight.
Unite to Fight.
Unite to Fight Cancer.
Yep.
Sunday, June 11th.
Yep.
Mark your calendars. Block it off. There's absolutely nothing more important going on in your life than this day.
A whole day.
Not even a whole day.
Not
From
even a whole day.
11 till dinner time.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Unite to Fight. We're going to do partner workouts.
Yep.
Any two people. I don't care who it is. 2 guys, 2 girls. Bring your kid. Bring a spouse. Someone that doesn't do CrossFit could probably survive.
Exactly.
We're going to do 3 workouts.
Yeah. They'll be fun.
There'll be fun things. Fairly, like if we do have someone that's never really done CrossFit before, it'll be like low-ish skill that kind of anyone could tag along. We're not doing judges. It's not a competition.
Nope.
It's just kind of the thing we do in CrossFit is we honor people's struggles and hardships and sacrifice with hard work. It's what the hero workouts are all about. So like a similar kind of thing to like go through the battle, you know, or like take a little piece of the battle kind of thing.
To see what it feels like to feel not awesome.
Yeah. Oh, you're tired at the end of the day?
Right.
I wonder who felt tired for like a whole year. Right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. So we're all going to like, you know, have a day of riding the struggle bus together.
Maybe we
It'll
get to
be good.
feel a little bit of what somebody going through
slice
chemotherapy
of that kind of thing.
feels like. Yeah.
So $50 per person, $100 per team.
Yep.
Gets you the workouts, a barbecue.
Yep.
We're going to have a barbecue after, burgers, beverages, beers, all that kind of stuff. You can also, if you don't want to do fitness, just get the barbecue and like we're working on a souvenir thing.
We are working on a souvenir.
Cool
with
unicorn logo that we came up with.
Awesome unicorn logo.
Not fully decided yet. Some kind of buff hat, toque, something, little souvenir thing. So even if you don't do the fitness, you can still make your $50 donation and come for the barbecue and get a little souvenir item.
So it would be like you're getting you're giving. It's a donation, but we're also going to give you something.
Yeah.
Right.
Get a little something, a little souvenir of the event.
Exactly.
So
But we're just trying to get your money
Yeah.
to give back to the cancer center.
and our
That's
goal
what it's all about.
is to be able to give all of the money to the cancer center.
That's right.
So we will need some volunteers too. If you're not into the fitness, you can help out the event. We'll need some volunteers to like be flipping burgers and helping organize the workouts for
and
sure.
registering people and
Yeah.
cheerleading and
That kind of stuff. We also are hoping to have like kind of each expense of the event sponsored. So we'll put all this up on the website. You can be the beer sponsor and you can make a donation that covers the cost of the beverages, and you can be the burger sponsor and you can make a donation that covers the cost of the burgers, or like water and, you know, the souvenirs and a sponsor for each workout event. And you can be the person in charge of the condiments and the cutlery and the plates and the buns and fruit and veggie trays and like all the various expenses that we're going to have. We are hoping to have each piece covered so that we can donate all the money.
all the money raised.
So even if you happen to be not here that weekend, you can still contribute and help out. We're also looking for some silent auction items to raise more money.
If you have something that you can donate, a gift basket, if you have a skill that you can donate, maybe a massage or whatever.
Yeah, if you have a business or provide a professional service or something, or you just want to put together some kind of little basket or prize or something cool.
Yeah.
That we can do silent auction items.
And
Lots
all the
of
money
ways.
from that would then go to
the
cancer center as well.
Yeah. So we'll try to raise as much money as we can and give it directly to the local cancer center.
It will go directly to the Saskatoon Cancer Center.
Yeah, we've already been in touch with them about organizing an event.
Yeah.
With the intention of donating all the money directly to them.
Yeah.
Registration is open now.
Oh, yeah. Registration's open. Get your team together.
Get in
and
there.
even if you don't have a partner, just
like,
sign up and we will find you a partner.
We'll throw it in you can sign up. We'll find you a partner. We'll throw it in like the Brio community group on the app and just be like, hey, need a buddy. And we'll for sure hook you up with someone that wants to do fitness with you. It'll be fun. Cross your fingers and pray for good weather for us on Sunday, June 11th.
We hope to have a lot of people out.
Yes. And we will be making use of the backyard space. And we do have the coverall building and all that stuff out there. Registration is going to close June 1st, so that you have to be in before that to give us the time we need to like know how many are coming and get all the food and like organize and stuff.
Get everything
So
organized.
No last minuteies.
That's right.
It's easier.
You've got lots of time, but the sooner you do it, the better, the more we know and can get organized for you guys to come and have fun.
Yeah. It makes make life easy on us
Yeah.
by registering as soon as possible. And I always tell people it's easier if you register and then can't come. It's easier to deal with less people than it is to deal with extras when you weren't expecting or last minute. So it's much easier to just get registered ahead of time.
And I think I just want this to be an event where people come together and just have fun and celebrate life and living and being healthy.
Yeah. And being with your crew.
And being with your crew.
Like-minded people. And we lost a lot of that during the COVID years. We couldn't be together and just have fun and just gather and just do good things for the community. So I think for many reasons, it's like long overdue. It's for a great cause. It's a way that all the people that during the struggle were like, how can I help? What can I do? We're like, here's your time. Here's your time. Here's your time. Here's how you can show your support for Coach Rana.
And I'm ready.
And the many people in our city, unfortunately, that have to deal with the same battle. And, probably, is there a single one of us in the gym in the world that doesn't know someone that's been touched by this, right? Like, it sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. And when I was working there, I was like, wow. And then when I was a patient there, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
When I'm looking across the chair and seeing people who are younger than me there for treatment. Yeah.
Young, old, everyone in between. Nobody's invincible. Nobody's immune. It
can happen to anybody at any time.
Yeah.
Because I found myself saying, never why me, but how did this happen? Yeah. Because I did all the things.
Yeah.
But even if you do all the things, at least you're ready for if it happens.
And I think that's the thing. You control what you can control, which is your dedication to your health and your fitness and eating well and being strong. But then there's all the things you can't control, right? Like air pollution and what's in the water and who God knows what else is out there giving us cancer. It seems like every week
and
you read a new article
and all the stuff that comes.
All the stuff you can't control. So control what you can control. And then you're the strongest, most battle ready person with the biggest war chest when have to, when you have to face it. You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say thank you to everybody who supported me, who knew, to you and to David and to all the nooners and who knew and anybody who knew who supported me, but also thank you to those who reached out afterwards and asked how they could help. This is how, like Jocelyn said, this is how.
This is the time.
This is the time.
And lucky for us, we get to have fun while we do it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it.
Me too.
June 11th, register, block it off on your calendar. We'll see all of you there.
Yes. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.